Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Overwatch Coach. We're on episode 12, and today we have a D.Va player, a silver D.Va, 1867 ranked SR on Nepal. I don't think I've reviewed a Nepal map yet, and I know I haven't reviewed a D.Va player yet. So I'm kind of looking forward to this a little bit. Now I want to put out, basically what I'm looking for out of this D.Va player is, when are they using their defense matrix? What are they blocking? Are they getting up into people's faces? Are they landing critical headshots as opposed to body shots? Are they shooting too far back, or are they actually getting up close? Are they using their mech for escapability? Are they, if they're up against a Pharah, are they flying up and kind of blocking shots, maybe getting into the Pharah's face a little bit? So basically things like that. Now I do want to preface that this video submitted had a very big overlay attached with it. So I cropped the majority of it out. However, I left his, I'm assuming it's his Twitch screen name. So that's up there. If you guys want to follow him, be my guest. This is kind of like a little shout out. Thank you for the submission to me that I'm leaving that up there. There's a little picture of D.Va above it that I obviously had to leave in the video. Otherwise the name would be cropped out. So I left that in there. But the majority of it I had to crop out because it had like other users' names on it. It had song names on it. His chat was showing on it, and I didn't know what was going to pop up in that, because keep in mind I haven't actually watched the video yet. So the majority of it's been cropped out. So if the video, if this one seems a little off or smaller or more compressed or something, that's the reason why for that. So without further ado, let's get into the video and let's see what we got. So I kind of fast forwarded just a little bit just to get it right at the comp screen. I also want to say one other thing. This apparently is a French game. Everybody's speaking in French. So I've got the volume, the game volume down a little bit because I don't know French. So all the mic comms that are going to be live here, I'm not going to know what's being said. So I'm going to assume you're communicating with your team. There seemed to be a lot of chat going on in the little bit I fast forwarded just to get to this screen here. But just to kind of review the team comp, I'm a little concerned that we're solo tanking with D.Va, especially because the Mercy's most likely going to be with the Pharah, and the Lucio's probably going to be with the two divey heroes. So I'm not entirely sure where the healing is going to be coming from to really help you out here. I'd probably ask for the Tracer or the Genji to switch to a hit scan or another tank. I'm not really sure which, and I guess part of it might depend on what the other team runs. If they run a Pharah, or if, I don't know. I guess it'll just kind of depend what we're up against. But generally speaking, I'm okay with the comp, but I think the comp could be getting a little bit more out of it if we switched up some of the DPS a little bit. So let's hit play here, see what we get.
Non, 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 très bien. Ok, ça va me changer un petit peu, j'aime bien. Ça me dérange pas, moi j'aime bien. Ça dépend c'est quoi.
So I like that you guys are going the main entry rather than up top, because you guys don't have a Reinhardt or many hits, or you don't have any hit scans to utilize going up top. So you're kind of, alright, you're already melted here. So you kind of dived in, you were kind of hitting the Zarya bubble a little bit. That's not really good, especially because Zarya is a hard counter to you. I learned Zarya back a couple seasons ago when D.Va was so overpowered. I wanted to be the hard counter to D.Va in most of the games. So you're going to have to really look out for that. And then on top of that, you had a soldier hitting you. You kind of overextended a little bit. And the way that this team comp is set up, you're going to have to play a kind of more passive, or maybe even like a flanking D.Va, because you're going to get a lot of focus fire on you because you're the only tank. And as I was discussing with the healer problem, you're most likely going to experience this game. I expect you're going to get melted, so having to use your defense matrix extremely wisely in this game is really going to be key. And here you got melted and you're going to be out of mech within seconds of the game starting. And then on top of that, they killed baby D.Va.
Mais vous êtes sérieux?
Plus de baby D.Va. Enfin,
Vous avez fait 2 secondes.
Je reviens.
So it looks like your team has fallen. Hanzo, they got a Hanzo that took out the Pharah.
Mayun, il va pas.
So right now, I'd be looking at that Lucio going back to spawn and speed boosting, taxiing everybody back up to the main gate. Him just kind of wall riding on the healing songs, not really going to do anything. Okay, so we have a McCree now. I think it's the Genji that switched. Not positive on that, but I think that's what it is. I like that switch. That's a good switch. So you kind of dive in again, and you're already getting melted.
Ah, mais vous avez chargé Zarya.
And keep in mind, you can only block so much with your defense matrix. That Zarya is going to be a problem for you. What I'd be looking for is having the DPS really heavily focusing the Zarya.
D.Va, en baby D.Va.
It's a decent Pharah ult. Alright.
Abonne, c'est qu'à abonne.
Avoine, vas-y, je vais dedans.
Abonne.
Elle a claqué son avoine pour rien.
So I think what's happening right now is your DPS is just outputting so much damage that the enemy healers are just having so much trouble keeping up that your team's just outputting more damage than they can keep up with. And that's a good thing. However, you as D.Va with this comp, I just don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes. But right now, you're getting carried by your team. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because there might be times for you to kind of pick up the slack when they start falling. Alright, that's a good escape right there.
C'est dans la maison.
See, now you're shooting a little bit too far back. You probably could have escaped all that. Yeah, all your DPS are just doing so much damage right now.
Mais on n'a pas de soldat.
Ouais, c'est pour ça que je fais
You were able to take D.Va out of mech though, which is good.
Roda, viens.
Il est tout fou, il est tout fou. Ah, il fait trop fou, ça fait pas fatal. Enfin, c'est chaud avec ce fatal là.
Merci pour le
Enfin,
follow.
Ça va.
Quel follow.
Sur mon stream.
Ah, de lien.
Va en civil.
D'accord, je vais sortir mes boobs, t'inquiète.
Suis toi, canard.
Ah,
Canard, c'est toi, c'est toi.
ouais.
See, I'd be falling back here.
Ah voilà.
Yeah.
Canard.
Okay, you popped your ult. You took out Lucio. That's not bad.
Là, je suis au-dessus du point et.
Okay, you dive back on. You're shooting Zarya. Your reaction time to the Zarya bubbles a little slow. You're charging Zarya when you hit her when she's bubbled. Yeah, not much you could do about that.
Je t'avais soigné, mec.
Didn't sound like you were getting headshots though. You need to adjust your aim just slightly, because you were like real close to getting headshots, but it didn't sound like you were getting them.
Tiens, fous le redonne.
Mais non, mais c'est bon, on a le
C'est
point.
bon.
C'est bon, je les ai foutus.
All right, you guys got it though, so that's good. Right now, your DPS is a big carry.
Hop là, c'est pour toi, Asile. Hop là.
Ce que j'ai kiffé, c'est que. Tu sais, j'ai balancé mon ulti, on a pris le point. Et en fait, je les ai tellement harass que j'avais re mon ulti quand ils ont tenté
Mais
un truc. J'ai repris
oh,
mon
elle me
ulti
fait chier la
après.
tresseur là, qui me laisse le ballon connasse là.
Ouais, connasse. Connasse. Non.
Un problème
Ah, mais
connard.
non.
Fast forward just a little bit here.
C'est Lisa qui t'a follow?
Doesn't look like you're gonna show up
Je t'ai montré mes
the
boobs, Lisa.
the team comp screen. I don't know if anything's actually changed. It doesn't look like it.
Tu devrais être ravi.
Now, it doesn't look like most of your team followed you on the point. Yeah, I don't think that they did. It looked like they went up, tried to take the high ground, and you melted because of it. Make sure you're on the same page with your team there. Yeah, nothing. It didn't look like anything changed with the team comp.
La baby D.Va est mat.
Viens là,
Maintenant
toi.
elle est morte.
Ah putain, mec.
On a beaucoup de morts. Hein. Mais aussi apparemment.
En fait, je les empêche d'aller sur le coup.
Attention, Reaper arrive sur la droite.
Alright, so we get back on point. They've got a Reaper now.
C'est chaud, hein.
Reaper could be a slight problem for you. It depends on how you time your defense matrix. Also depends on if this Mercy kind of focus heals you more than the Pharah.
Reaper sur la gueule.
Yeah, that Reaper's in trouble. Ooh. Okay, good defense matrix. You blocked the Reaper Death Blossom.
Il va très low.
Ouvrez-moi cette D.Va, putain.
Elle est morte, elle est morte, elle est morte, elle est morte. Il reste plus que le Reaper, il reste plus que le Reaper.
Ah non, je suis décédée.
Reaper et Soldier, les deux sont low. Reaper. J'ai plus de mecha.
Son raid.
Ah putain, je comprends.
As Baby D.Va, I'd be looking for you. Yeah, see, you're still shooting that the Zarya bubble. But as Baby D.Va, I'm looking for you to kind of strafe left and right more. Be hard to hit. You're Baby D.Va. You're already kind of hard to hit, but
Sur le dead.
you're not really dodging much. See, the problem I have with that ult is they've got a lot of time to react to that, and now you're just melted again.
Putain, mais la Zarya, elle
You're kind of overextended there when you repopped your mech. That Zarya ult, or I keep saying Zarya, that D.Va ult, they have so much time to react, and that pillar's like right there for them to just get around it. That's why your mech blow up didn't do anything. What I'd be looking for is wait until your whole team's there. There's a big scrimmage fight going on, and then kind of pop it more in the backfield. So then that way they got to kind of look for where it is, and you kind of get just lost in the whole shuffle of everything.
5v6, allez. Allez.
When you just kind of throw it out and not much else is going on, everybody's going to know where it is and get away from it. See, you're still shooting that Zarya bubble. Zarya's your counter when you're D.Va, and then if the bubble's getting shot, she's going to be that much more of a counter, because an uncharged Zarya, not that big of a threat. I mean, she's still going to do damage, but, you know, she's not that big of a deal. But you can see she's getting charge off of somebody, and that somebody,
Ouais, désolé, j'ai
I don't know who else, but I can definitely say you've been a culprit of it.
Ah, elle se fait foutre.
Ils ont sorti Hanzo.
Ouais, ouais.
La première manche, il avait changé et là il a ressorti.
Alright, you did a little bit better job getting off of the Zarya bubble that time. Your retreats are taking too long. Okay, I see what you... Yeah, see, that was better. See, there was a big fight going on. You kind of
Baby D.Va.
got it... Actually, you kind of put that one right in their faces, but there was really nowhere for them to run.
Zarya low. Zarya morte.
L'évolution est morte.
Ouais, je fais confiance à notre Pharah. Notre Pharah que je booste.
T'inquiète, ça frag.
Ah mais mec
Sur le côté, il y a un truc.
Frag et ça fait du bien.
Ah
Yeah, see, if you would have gotten more in that soldier's face, you would have took him out, and then you could have really staggered that team. That's a shame he was able to get away. You kind of took a poor route to that. If you would have took the left staircase by that elephant instead, you probably could have got more in his face, did a little bit more damage, maybe landed a headshot to finish him off.
Pourquoi tu m'entends bizarrement?
Ouais, j'avoue, il a un petit écho. Hein.
Ah ouais, mortel même.
Ah bon?
What was that?
Attendez, je regarderai après, je regarderai après.
Il a plus de PV le.
Alright, good job finishing off D.Va. They've got a Reinhardt now who just got melted by the Pharah. So they're running triple tank right now. Triple tank is not currently a thing, especially with a Zenyatta on the team.
760.
So right now their comp is a problem. They've got a damage problem right now, especially
Pas de l'écho.
if you guys do a better job not shooting that Zarya bubble, because if Zarya's not getting charged, she's not outputting much damage. And in a triple tank setup where she's not charged,
C'est l'air de
and the other tank is a Reinhardt,
La connexion de la
it's a wrap.
C'est celui-là qui fait le tour de...
Non.
Non.
Alors ça se passe bien, Lisa?
mortel, écoute, j'ai une connexion à 5 mégas et Canal Plus à la télé. Bon,
Ouais, mais...
bien quoi. Au niveau du table. Bah,
T'as
niveau
commencé
boulot, aujourd'hui, ouais, j'ai commencé aujourd'hui de 7h30.
All right, I'm looking for you guys to try to take high ground here.
Qui arrivait, puis bah, puisqu'on a pas
Let's see if you do it.
à travailler, mais de 7h à
Nope.
14h seulement.
You guys went the wrong way.
Seul point en masse. Hein.
I'd be looking for you guys to go right.
Ils ont fait péter une Orisa.
Now they get. All right, so Arissa's gonna be looking for environmental kills. So is the Roadhog. It looks like. So they're really switching up their tank comp.
J'arrive pas à la
They didn't have either of these tanks in the first 2 rounds.
Ah non, c'est une Orisa, c'est normal.
You're doing a great job on the Orisa, though. The best way to counter Orisa is... Oh, good save. The best way to counter Orisa is to just get up in her face, go through the shield, and just start blasting headshots. She's got one of the biggest head targets in the game. The thing is, though, if Roadhog kind of defends the Orisa, he might be able to keep you guys at bay. And if that ends up being the case... it's going to be a shield war. And you guys don't have a shield to hide behind. You got defense matrix, but that's not quite the same thing. So let's see how the rest of this game goes here. They're still running that triple tank though, but now they have proper damage coming out of a triple tank lineup. This is a better switch up for at least triple tank. I still would advise against it though, but it's at least an improvement. You should be going for that health pack on the left, not trying to get little dinks on people, because you're not going to do anything with that pistol. You're still not doing it. Well, you were able to get your mech. A higher up game, you would have been picked. I don't have any doubt in my mind that you should not have survived that if you were in a higher level game. Oh, that was a good ult. That was a really good ult.
Ouais, ouais, reste plus que le Lucio.
Ok, bien.
Lucio et D.Va. Non, il est toujours là, Lucio. Il est toujours là.
un coup, putain.
Il est low, mais il est toujours là. Ils sont tous en train de revenir. Lucio full vie.
You're playing a little far back. You're not utilizing your damage properly. You're kind of playing like a snipe D.Va right now. You got to get into people's faces more, land headshots. Like the thing with D.Va is she's very in and out. You know, she dives in, she does a little bit of damage, and then she dives out. I haven't really seen you do that. I see you dive in and then you die. So you gotta kind of start learning when to back out of fights and what fights you should be diving and what fights you shouldn't be diving. It kind of seems like you go on like an autopilot. You kind of like you dive in because you know that's what you're supposed to do, but then you don't have your team supporting you, and then you just get melted and go down right away. Okay, we have a Winston on our team now. That's probably for the Genji. Let's pause here. I want to get a proper look at this team comp, because it looks like a lot of things have been changing here. And then we can also look at your stats a little bit too here. Alright, so what do we have here? Alright, so the Tracer's been the one switching. That's okay. The Genji, if the Genji's taking out Mercy, then he's worth keeping. I can't say I've noticed if he has been or not, but if we're running triple tank, Genji's not the most ideal. But again, if he's doing work on the healers, then he's worth keeping. I don't know if he has been or not. I can honestly say I haven't really been looking for that too much. But I just want to throw that out there. The Winston's good for the Genji, so we're going to circle who we've got countering here. Lucio's good for just this map in general. You should be getting pocket healed now by Mercy between Winston and you. And the Soldier is okay. With this team comp, I'd say it's okay. This is one of the few games you could get away with not having a hit scan. You could go Reaper here, probably. Hell, you could even go Junkrat. It's one of the few times I'd advocate for a Junkrat maybe even being good here. But I don't hate your guys' team comp. As far as theirs go, they got off of the triple tank, so there's a lot of switching going on with this team. Again, if their Genji's taking out your Mercy, it's worth it. If not, because you guys are running a Winston, You guys probably should be negating the Genji pretty well here. The only real problem I'm seeing is you guys don't really have a solution to Roadhog. And this video was taken before the Roadhog nerf and the Reaper buff. So this Roadhog could be doing some significant work on your team.
Genji, par contre,
See how the rest of this game plays out here.
ou si tu peux.
J'en ai que 2. Hein.
Stat-wise, you're about where I'd expect you to be. Your damage is bronze, which, considering the distance in which you've been choosing your fights, makes sense to me. Plus, you guys have been running a lot of DPS characters, so you got a lot of competition in the damage department. Alright, so you took D.Va out of her mech, and it looks like you ulted there. Not a big fan of that alt.
Moi j'ai silver au kill.
Bah, je suis gold, hein.
You did take out Lucio, though, so I guess I can't really complain about it. But in a higher level game, that ult probably wouldn't have did anything. You probably would have been best served to hold on to that one. Maybe launch one into the air to try to get him off point in overtime. Because it looks like that's where this is headed. Yeah, we're already in overtime. So having your ult here could have meant a lot more.
J'essaie de contester, mais c'est compliqué, les gars. Hein.
Putain, le Roda qui me rend.
D.Va super low.
Test,
Derrière, attention derrière, les gars.
Il y a qui a eu pas fait de gaffe.
je
Avec
passe
la
par
même.
derrière. Test, hein, je passe par derrière pour niquer le roulette.
Ah, je suis mort.
If I were you right now, I'd be trying to... Ooh, boy.
Non, je suis sur le point, non, putain.
Yeah, your reaction time to that was kind of slow. But see, this is what I was suggesting. If you would have held on to your ult, saved it for overtime, that D.Va ult just cleared the point for them to win it. Now imagine if you had your D.Va ult. You might have been able to do the same thing, and you would have been able to do it before theirs was able to clear off the point. So the timing of your ults has been a little bit suspect. Just because you have it doesn't mean use it. Sometimes it's best to save it, and that's kind of just a situational awareness thing. Like, if you were looking at the clock and kind of knowing where the game was headed, i.e. overtime, trying to clear the point to try to retake it to extend the round a little longer, saving your ult for that, you might have been able to keep that round going. We could still be in that round right now. But you guys were able to win this map the last time you played, so let's see if we didn't have the Winston last time, they didn't have the Roadhog last time.
On a fait un kill, ouais.
Derrière.
Now I like that you kind of tried to dive the
Ah,
Zenyatta.
merci.
You're diving the healers right now, which is okay. I would probably encourage a little bit of a quicker back out time, but your healers kind of had you covered. And you guys kind of won the fight anyway, so it was kind of like the round one when you dived in and just got melted within a couple seconds and you were out of mech within like the first 5 seconds of the fight. I was kind of expecting that to happen again, but I think because you guys aren't running the Pharah, the Mercy's kind of healing you more, so you're able to get away with it a little bit more.
D.Va, donc,
I'm still a little concerned about how you guys are going to address this Roadhog, because this Roadhog is in a position to carry his team right now. Alright, good defense matrix. You should be negating that ult. It looks like you are. Not a big fan of your ult choice there.
elle est super low.
Um,
Elle est morte.
Oh, je l'ai eu. Oh.
Genji ultra low.
Là, t'étais dessus aussi.
Well, I guess it did kind of re-clear the point. It gave you guys control of it again. I'd have probably saved it. If it were me, I would have saved it. But I guess we could chalk it up as a zoning ult. Good job getting the Zenyatta.
Reviens, il est mort, il est mort.
J'étais en train de me soigner. Ah,
Gotta work on your aim a little. Looked like you missed every shot you took on that Genji.
attends, si, je suis là, mais c'est juste que je...
Alright, better job backing away from the fight that time. However, right now you're not doing anything to that Mercy. You're way too far away to be doing any legitimate damage. Defense matrix that soldier.
Oh, c'est
Okay.
Dans Zarya, hello.
Diving on the Zarya is not a bad choice because she's countering you so heavily. You didn't really shoot at her bubble, which is good. You finish off Soldier, that's good.
Le Dan, il doit avoir son ulti là.
Non, il vient de le claquer, enfin.
Il est en côté de la soupe, hein. D'accord.
Je vais mourir, je vais mourir.
Back, si tu veux. Dash, back.
Son reste.
Non, Zen, voilà, les amis, c'est là.
Ouais, mais le Rodog il était pas dans le reste, donc déjà on a ça.
J'essaye d'isoler la merci, mais c'est chaud.
Genji mort.
Je suis débuff.
Zenyatta sur le point.
C'est en cours.
Dégage au 67.
Ouais, bah,
Genji just cleared point. You're using your ult to clear point, and you guys won the round. Good. I like that last ult a lot for all the reasons that I was kind of chastising you in the last round. That was a good ult. It helped clear the point. Genji and the Winston were also doing a good job, but, you know, if anybody was kind of able to survive and hang through all of that, your ult would have finished them off. So I like that ult a lot. By the end of the game, you were playing differently than how you were playing in the beginning of the game. So I don't know if you were just kind of out of practice and you were kind of getting in the rhythm of things a little bit, or what the deal was, but your play style changed as the game went on, and it changed for the better. So the things that I would encourage you to improve upon is, one, retreating. Knowing when to retreat, being a little bit faster at it, being able to spot when it's a losing fight and when to back out and try to save your mech. Like I said, D.Va is one of those heroes where you get in and you get out. You shouldn't be just diving in and then getting your mech melted, because your mech's got a lot of hit points, it's got a lot of armor, plus you've got defense matrix. You know, like the beginning of that first round, like you got melted out of your mech within about 5 seconds, and that's not even an exaggeration. So you got to know when you're diving in what you're going to be kind of diving into, and being able to survive it long enough to be able to retreat out of it. Number 2 is ult timing. Some of your ults were really good. Some of them felt like, oh, I have an ult, let's just use it so I can get another one right away. There were a couple ults where they just, like, you could tell they weren't going to do anything, and then they wound up not doing anything. The one in the second round, I think it was, where you kind of threw it at their staircase, or no, you were at your staircase, you threw it into the point, and then they all kind of hid behind the pillar because they had plenty of time to kind of react to your ult. One thing I never really noticed you doing is launching a mech in the air. I don't know if that's something you do and you just didn't do in this game, or if you don't know how to do that. But you might want to practice launching ults in the air and timing it in a way so that people won't know exactly where it's going to land. I find those to be the most difficult ones to dodge and avoid, because you don't exactly know where they're going to land. So it's like you might try to grab, you know, hide behind a box or something, but then where the mech lands, it'll still take you out. That might be something worth practicing if that's not something that's currently in your game today. Again, I don't know if it is or not. We didn't see it in this one, though. And then number 3, Zarya. You got to work on how to play against a Zarya. Your reaction time to Zarya bubbles was really slow. It got better as the game went on. So again, maybe this was just this was one of your first games, and you know you were still kind of getting warmed up or something. I don't know, because you got better as the game went on. But in the first 2 or 3 rounds, your reaction to her was pretty bad, in terms of bubbles and stuff like that. If I were you, I'd try to bully her a little bit more and get into her face, trying to land headshots, because she was really your only legitimate danger until they had a Roadhog. And even Roadhogs, I'd still fear the Zarya, a charged Zarya, over a Roadhog in your case, in that type of a game. Because that Zarya was glued to you when she saw you, which is what a Zarya should be doing. Zarya is a counter to you. So you got to watch out for those bubbles. And you also got to realize if that Zarya is charged, live to fight another day, because if she's not getting hit, she's going to start doing less damage. So if you got to retreat and kind of let her cool off a little bit, do it. Because the more damage you're taking from the Zarya, and the more damage coming her way when she's already charged, and the more bubbles she pops, the more she's going to be a problem. Those are the three big things that I noticed out of this game. Positioning was a little bit of an issue, but it wasn't a super big issue. I would try to get a little bit more into people's faces, get a little bit closer when you're shooting. Try not to become one of the sniping divas where you're kind of just shooting at a distance, not really doing any legitimate damage. I did notice a little bit of that, but I also noticed you trying to get in people's faces too. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as you're playing as well. But other than that, I think you're pretty good. I think you're gonna. If you're not already climbed out of silver, I'm sure you're going to at least probably be a mid gold or high gold player by the end of the season, maybe even higher than that. But yeah, I hope you learned something from this. This has been episode 12 of the Overwatch Coach, and I'll catch you guys for episode 13 in a few days.